Okay, episode 337. Let's get to it. Okay, trying to get a sweat on today. So wearing a few layers up top and it's working. Ran 6 miles this morning with Anita for some recovery time. Just finishing off a couple more miles after dropping her off and getting the rest of my recovery run in for a total 8 miles today. Kids are working on a little bit of individual responsibility and they're running on their own today. Tough being a kid, but I gotta make sure that they practice being good humans. It's way more important than school or running. So kids will be back on the vlog tomorrow and we'll have a spicy session to boot. Today I'm going to talk about how my good friend John Casas went 1:36 in the Mountains to Beach half marathon yesterday. All right, let's go.
John had been running about 20 miles per week for 4 weeks before we started our training build together. He was running anywhere from 3 to 5 days per week. John also had a history of running at an average of around 33 miles per week and up to 40 miles in his peak week during his Long Beach Marathon build last year. So at the end of February, with 8 weeks to go, we started our training build with a weekly volume of 29 miles per week. I set up the build for a goal half marathon race at 1 hour and 40 minutes. We both agreed that John had the potential to run that, but we also had to acknowledge that his current fitness wasn't quite there yet. And with only 8 weeks to go, it's such a short build. We couldn't really ramp up the workouts with gradual progressions starting at paces that he's able to accomplish. So I told John, hey, let's just build out the structure for what it takes to run 1 hour and 40 minutes with 8 weeks to go and just see what we can get done and make adjustments as we move along. John agreed, and we also agreed that it was a very ambitious goal to try to accomplish 1 hour and 40 minutes in such a short amount of time and to put a high priority on health. So we agreed to communicate frequently and for him to let me know if there are anything that is bothering him, even the slightest niggle or a little bit of fatigue or anything that could possibly cause any kind of form break, which could later lead to injury. Basically, I set up each week with 3 workouts: 1 VO2 max workout, 1 threshold workout, and 1 long run workout. The VO2 max workouts were structured as a progression from 600 meter intervals all the way to 1600 meter intervals with off weeks in between each of those interval weeks of 600 meter intervals. We ran all of our intervals at 5K race pace. And even though it could be beneficial for John to run faster than 5K race pace, especially for a half marathon race, we had such little time and I didn't want to compromise health because I really wanted to make sure that we could get John to the start line without any kind of injuries. We did a threshold progression each week from 2 miles all the way up to 6 miles. We did all of those threshold miles at LT3 or 10K race pace. Finally, we did long run progressions each week from 8 miles in 1 week up to 12 miles. And we did a progression of mixing in some race pace miles within the long run. The progression ultimately led to a continuous run of 8 miles at race pace, which was a really tough one at 5 weeks to go. And as I mentioned before, at 4 weeks to go, we mixed in lactate threshold runs into our long runs, and we did different combinations of threshold efforts from LT1 to LT2 to LT3. John ran 7 days a week. All the rest of the days were recovery runs and general aerobic runs from anywhere between 3 to 6 miles. John was having trouble with Tuesday workouts and was feeling really tight and stiff. So we decided to convert the Monday cross-training day into a recovery day, and that really helped out a ton. And he was able to do the Tuesday workouts much more smoothly. John had a really busy schedule. He was doing most of his weekday workouts in the evenings after work, and he did most of his weekend workouts in the mornings. He was also called in to reserve duty during a very critical week during the training process, so he wasn't able to hit some of the workouts during that week. Otherwise, John was really good about staying focused, being very responsible to the schedule, and attempted all of the rest of the workouts and completed most of them quite successfully. He had some good days, and he would definitely contact me with a lot of joy on those days. And he also had some bad days too. And we took a problem-solving approach and tried to pinpoint why that workout didn't turn out as expected. We were able to implement some changes that John could do on the spot at the moment. For example, taking a slightly longer rest period in between VO2 max intervals, or breaking up a threshold run with floats, and then letting his heart rate come down and regrouping before attempting to finish his threshold run. I think little tips like that made John a more seasoned runner, and he'll be able to use this knowledge as he continues on his running journey and continues on crushing PBs. Overall, I am very satisfied with John's performance at the Mountains to Beach half marathon this past Sunday. I think he did an excellent job.
So much love and gratitude to our Patreon team. We can't do it without you. Hey, visit me on Instagram and Strava. You can find me right here. Thanks for coming with me all the way to the end of this 8-mile recovery run and this talk about how John Casas was able to run a 1:36 half marathon with 8 weeks of training and 32 miles per week. All right. I hope you have a great day and a meaningful run. I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye now. Hey guys, if you missed it, you can check out John's race video right here. And while you're at it, I'll also provide you a card for Haven's LA Marathon video. All right.